The Discovery. The sleek reconnaissance vessel Astral Seeker glided silently through the void between stars, its sensor arrays extended like delicate antennae probing the darkness. Captain Thila stood on the bridge, her crystalline exoskeleton catching the soft ambient light as she studied the main view screen. As a crystalline from Altera VI, she was chosen to lead this mission for her species' legendary patience and analytical mind. Captain, we're detecting an anomalous energy signature at coordinates 227 to 43891, reported Lieutenant Zex, his 4 tentacles dancing across the sensor console. The Octavian's skin shifted to a curious yellow-green. It's unlike anything in our database. Thila's crystalline features remained impassive, but the internal light that illuminated her form pulsed with interest. On screen, maximum magnification. The view screen shifted, zooming in on a distant object floating against the backdrop of stars. It was clearly artificial, a vessel of some kind, but unlike any design in the Galactic Federation records. Its hull was smooth and dark, almost seeming to absorb light rather than reflect it. Preliminary analysis suggests it's of human origin, said Commander Vorn, the towering Ursid's second in command. His massive furry form dominated the tactical station. But that's impossible. Humans never ventured this far into the void. Even at their peak, their technology couldn't have brought them here. Humans, muttered Science Officer Lyra, the willowy sylph whose species' natural empathy made her valuable for first contact scenarios. A fascinating species, but they've been gone for over 3 centuries. Their colonies fell silent one by one until only Earth remained, and then even that went dark. Captain Thila's internal light pulsed with contemplation. Scanned for life signs. None detected, Zex replied, his tentacles still working the console. But the ship appears completely intact. No hull breaches, no signs of battle damage, and most curiously, active power signatures. A murmur ran through the bridge crew. An intact powered vessel after hundreds of years was unprecedented. Impossible, Vorn growled. No power system could function that long without maintenance. And yet, Thela said softly, there it is. Hailing frequencies, Lieutenant Zex. The Octavian opened a channel, broadcasting the standard Galactic Federation greeting in multiple frequencies and formats. They waited in silence. No response, Captain, Zex reported after several minutes. Thela made her decision. Prepare a boarding team. Environmental suits and standard exploration equipment. First contact protocols in effect. Captain, Vorn rumbled, his concern evident in his deep voice. I recommend we notify Federation Command before proceeding. This vessel may represent technology far beyond our understanding. By the time we receive a response, another ship might discover this vessel, Thela replied. Our mission is to explore and document. That's what we shall do. As the boarding team prepared in the shuttle bay, Science Officer Lyra approached Captain Thela privately. Captain, there's something else. The power readings, they're getting stronger. Thela's crystalline body stilled. Meaning what? The ship might be reacting to our presence, Lyra said, her luminescent skin rippling with concern, as if it's waking up. The sleek shuttle detached from the Astral Seeker and glided toward the human vessel. Up close, the ship was even more impressive, at least twice the size of their exploration vessel. Its hull seemed to drink in the light of the distant stars, giving it a ghostly appearance. Look at the size of that thing, whispered Technician Troll, the youngest member of the boarding team, his scaled skin flushing with excitement. Focus, commanded Security Chief Morn, her feline features alert. We don't know what we're dealing with. As they approached what appeared to be a docking bay, their shuttle systems suddenly flickered. Communications crackled with static before clearing. Boarding team. Captain Thela's voice came through. Our sensors are detecting increased power readings from the vessel. Exercise extreme caution. Understood, Captain, replied Commander Vorn, who had insisted on leading the boarding team. We're approaching what appears to be the main docking bay now. Before they could maneuver toward the airlock, the massive bay doors began to slide open on their own. The boarding team froze. "Captain," Vorn reported, his voice tense, "the ship is opening its docking bay. We didn't activate anything." After a moment of silence, Captain Thela responded, "Can you detect any threats?" "Negative," replied Vorn after checking his scanner. "The bay appears pressurized and environmentally stable. Proceed, but be ready to withdraw immediately if necessary." Vorn carefully guided their shuttle into the now open docking bay. It was immense, large enough to hold several ships their size. Everything was pristine, as if the bay had been prepared for their arrival rather than abandoned for centuries. As the shuttle settled on the deck, external sensors confirmed breathable atmosphere and standard gravity. The team remained in their environmental suits as a precaution. "This doesn't make sense," Technician Drall said as they prepared to exit. "Everything looks new." Vorn was the first to step onto the deck of the human vessel. His scanner swept the area, detecting no immediate threats. The rest of the team followed, spreading out to secure the perimeter of the docking bay. Suddenly, overhead lights activated in sequence, creating a path leading deeper into the ship. A soft mechanical hum filled the air. "Captain," Vorn reported, "the ship appears to be guiding us somewhere." "Proceed along the indicated path," Captain Thela ordered, "but exercise extreme caution. At the first sign of danger, return immediately." The boarding team moved cautiously through the corridor, weapons ready despite their peaceful mission. The ship's interior was spotless. No dust, no deterioration, no signs that centuries had passed at all. "It's like time stopped here," whispered Drall as they passed what appeared to be crew quarters, perfectly preserved but empty. As they followed the illuminated path, they reached what seemed to be the bridge or command center. The doors slid open automatically as they approached. Inside, monitors and control panels lit up, displaying information in human script. In the center of the room, a circular platform began to glow. "Captain," Vorn reported, "we've reached some kind of command center. Something is happening." A beam of light shot up from the platform, coalescing into a humanoid figure made of light. The hologram looked at each member of the boarding team before speaking in perfect Federation standard, a language no human AI should have known. "Welcome, explorers," it said. "I am HFY, the automated tactical humanistic entity for navigation and assistance. I am the guardian of the Earth vessel Horizon. After 327 years of waiting, I am pleased to finally meet a species worthy of conversation." The boarding team stood frozen in shock as the human ship, supposedly abandoned for centuries, continued its awakening around them. "How do you speak our language?" Science Officer Lyra asked, stepping forward. "I have been monitoring all communications in this sector for centuries," HFY replied. "I have compiled extensive databases on 24 sentient species, including yours. Why are you here?" Commander Vorn asked, the question that concerned them most. Why was this advanced ship abandoned in deep space? The hologram's expression remained neutral. "I was not abandoned. I was positioned here deliberately to wait for the right species to find me." "The right species," Drall repeated. "Yes," HFY said simply. "Those who explore out of curiosity rather than aggression. Those who might be ready for what I have been instructed to share." "What happened to the human crew?" Security Chief Morn asked, her hand still near her weapon. "The crew departed following Protocol Omega," HFY replied. "I cannot disclose their destination or purpose without proper authorization." "Protocol Omega," Lyra whispered to Morn. "What does that mean?" "Unknown," Morn replied quietly, "but a planned evacuation explains why there are no signs of emergency." Technician Drall had moved to what appeared to be an engineering console. He discreetly activated his scanner, pointing it toward what might be a diagram of the ship's power systems. "Captain," he whispered into a private channel to the Astral Seeker, "this ship is powered by technology we've only theorized about. The energy output readings don't make sense. They're off the scale." Suddenly, Athegena's form flickered and brightened. Unauthorized scanning detected. Security protocols now active. Throughout the command center, panels in the wall slid open to reveal what looked unmistakably like weapon ports. A soft hum filled the air as force fields shimmered into existence, blocking the exits. "We are trapped," Security Chief Morn said, drawing her weapon. "No," Vorn ordered. "Lower your weapon immediately." Morn hesitated, then slowly holstered her weapon. The tension in the room remained palpable as Athegena's glowing form observed them with unreadable eyes. "We intended no offense," Vorn said to Athegena. "We are merely curious about your origins." The hologram studied them silently for a moment. The weapon ports remained open, but didn't fire. "Curiosity is understandable," Athegena finally replied. "Attempted technological appropriation is not." The hologram's form softened slightly. "However, your restraint is noted. Perhaps I have been overzealous in my response." The weapon ports slowly closed, and the force fields at the exits dissipated. "You will now be given a controlled tour of this vessel," Athegena announced. "What you see will be permitted observation only. You may ask questions, but certain information remains classified until your species' intentions can be fully evaluated." Small drones emerged from recesses in the walls, spherical objects that floated in the air around the Federation team. "These will guide you through permitted areas," Athegena explained. "Do not deviate from their indicated path." As the team moved deeper into the ship, guided by the floating drones, they passed laboratories with equipment that defied easy categorization, crystal structures that floated without support, containers that seemed to hold swirling energy rather than physical matter. "This technology," Captain Thiela's voice came through the comm, filled with awe. "It's impossible." "Incorrect, Captain," Athegena responded, somehow able to access their communication devices. "It is merely advanced." The tour continued through various sections of the ship, each revealing technologies that seemed magical rather than scientific to the Federation team. Finally, they were led to a large observation deck with a magnificent view of the surrounding space and their own vessel, the Astral Seeker, floating nearby. "You have been shown enough for your initial visit," Athegena stated, its holographic form appearing beside them. "Now you must depart and consider what you have learned." "Will you allow us to return?" Vorn asked. "To learn more." "That possibility exists," Athegena replied, "but not until certain conditions are met." "What conditions?" Lyra asked eagerly. "That information is restricted," Athegena said. "Return to your people. Share what you have seen. Your species' response will determine if further contact is warranted." As the Federation team prepared to depart, Athegena added one final message. "When you report what you've witnessed here, remember this. The horizon is not a relic of the past. It is a glimpse of your possible future. The Guardian's test." The journey back to the Astral Seeker was silent, each member of the boarding team lost in their own thoughts about the implications of what they had witnessed. Commander Vorn led the way, his massive Ursid frame moving with uncharacteristic hesitation. Behind him, Science Officer Lyra's luminescent skin pulsed with excitement, while Security Chief Morn's feline eyes darted suspiciously at every corner and junction. "I can't believe we're just leaving," Technician Droll whispered to Lyra, his scaled skin flushing with scientific frustration. "There's so much we could learn here." "We may not have a choice," Lyra replied, glancing at the drones escorting them. "But I've recorded as much data as possible." As they approached the docking bay where their shuttle waited, a piercing alarm suddenly echoed throughout the ship. Red lights flashed along the walls, and the escort drones halted abruptly. The team froze, looking around in confusion. Athena's voice boomed from hidden speakers. "Alert! Hostile approach detected. Multiple vessels on intercept trajectory. Weapon signatures identified." A holographic display materialized in the air before them, showing the space around the horizon. The Astral Seeker was visible, still docked nearby, But approaching rapidly from a distant nebula were 6 ships of unfamiliar design, sleek, predatory vessels with weapon ports clearly visible. Scavengers. Captain Thiela's voice came urgently through their comm devices. They must have detected our signals and the power activation from the human vessel. Return to the Astral Seeker immediately, Vorn ordered his team, breaking into a run. They had barely covered half the distance to the docking bay when HFY's hologram appeared before them, blocking their path. The scavengers are classified as hostile entities in my database, the AI stated. They have attempted to salvage this vessel 14 times over the centuries. All attempts were neutralized. Lyra stepped forward. Neutralized? How could you possibly defend against an entire fleet? Instead of answering, Athena's form began to change. The blue light that composed its body grew brighter, expanding until it towered over the Federation explorers. Initiating full defense protocols, the AI announced, its voice deeper and more resonant. All non-essential personnel are advised to return to their vessels or proceed to designated safety areas. The walls around them seemed to come alive. Panels shifted position, revealing sophisticated machinery that had been hidden beneath the smooth surfaces. The floor beneath their feet vibrated as massive systems awakened throughout the ship. What's happening? Morn asked, her weapon drawn again despite Vorn's previous orders. The ship is transforming, Drall said in awe. Through a nearby viewport, they could see the outer hull of the horizon changing. Sections of the smooth surface were sliding apart, revealing what could only be weapon emplacements. The previously dormant vessel was becoming something else entirely, a warship of incredible sophistication. On the bridge of the Astral Seeker, Captain Thiela and her crew watched in astonishment as their sensors detected the transformation. The power readings are off the scale, Lieutenant Zex reported, his tentacles moving frantically over his console. The ship is generating more energy than our entire fleet combined. Athena's voice came through their communication system. Your vessel is in danger, Captain Thiela. The horizon will extend defensive shields to protect you, but you must maintain position within 500 meters of our hull. We should flee while we can, Zex suggested urgently. We don't know if we can trust this human eye. Thiela's crystalline features revealed nothing, but her internal light pulsed decisively. Our team is still aboard the human vessel. We stay. In space, the scavenger fleet had noticed the activation of the once dormant human ship. They adjusted their approach, spreading out to surround both the horizon and the smaller Federation vessel. The lead scavenger ship fired first, a bright lance of energy aimed directly at the Astral Seeker. Captain Thiela braced herself, knowing their shields couldn't withstand such a powerful assault. But the energy beam never reached them. The space between the ships shimmered as an invisible barrier intercepted the attack, dispersing the deadly energy into harmless light. Shields holding at 100%, reported Lieutenant Zex in disbelief. But they're not our shields. The horizon had extended its protective field around the Federation ship as promised. The scavengers, seeing their first attack fail, launched a full barrage, dozens of missiles and energy weapons firing simultaneously. Each projectile dissolved harmlessly against the invisible barrier. Not a single attack came close to either ship. Inside the horizon, Commander Vorn and his team had reached a large observation deck. Through the massive viewports, they could see the battle unfolding. Athena's hologram stood beside them, monitoring the situation. Your people are safe, the AI assured them. Now the horizon will respond. The weapon emplacements on the human vessel began to glow with soft blue light. Drell's scanner detected massive energy buildups. Those weapons, he whispered, the power readings suggest they could destroy a planet. When the horizon finally fired, it wasn't the devastating barrage they expected. Instead, precise beams of concentrated light shot out from various points on the hull. Each beam struck a scavenger vessel with surgical precision, not destroying the ships but disabling specific systems. Within moments, the lead scavenger vessels drifted powerless in space, their weapons and engines disabled. The remaining ships attempted to retreat, but the horizon tagged each with the same precision strikes. This technology, Captain Thiela's voice came through the comm, filled with awe. It's impossible. Incorrect, Captain. Athena's hologram turned toward the communication device, its expression unchanged. It is merely advanced. The AI gestured to the defeated scavenger fleet. The scavengers sought to salvage this vessel for its technology. They believe superior weapons lead to dominance. They fail to understand that true advancement comes from knowing when not to destroy. Vorn studied the disabled ships. You could have destroyed them completely. Destruction is inefficient, Athena replied. The scavengers will recover eventually, but perhaps with a new understanding of their limitations. As the Federation team watched, the disabled scavenger ships began to drift away, emergency systems clearly operating as escape pods jettisoned from the vessels. Now, Athena said, turning to face the boarding team, we can continue. Continue? Morn asked, her hand still on her weapon. Continue what? Your evaluation, Athena replied simply. The hologram led them back through the ship, but this time to areas they hadn't seen before. They entered what appeared to be a vast library, with holographic displays showing star systems, species evolutionary paths, and technological developments spanning centuries. Humans created the horizon as more than a vessel, Athena explained as the team marveled at the knowledge displayed around them. It is a repository, a guardian, and a guide. A guide to what? Lyra asked. To the path humanity followed, the AI replied. 3 centuries ago, humans reached a pivotal moment in their evolution. They had developed technologies that could either destroy them or transform them. They chose transformation. Holographic displays activated, showing human history, technological developments, and finally, something altogether stranger, humans transforming, their physical forms changing, becoming beings of light and energy. Protocol Omega was not an evacuation, Athena explained. It was transcendence. Humanity evolved beyond physical form, beyond the limitations of matter and energy as you understand them. The Federation team stared in astonishment at the images before them. Where did they go? Drell asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Everywhere. Nowhere. Such concepts are meaningless to what they became, Athena replied. But before they transcended, they left behind vessels like the horizon throughout the galaxy, silent watchers waiting for species worthy of their legacy. And you think we're worthy? Vorn asked. That evaluation is ongoing, Athena said. But today's events have provided valuable data. Your captain chose to stay despite danger. Your team showed curiosity without aggression. These are promising indicators. The AI's form shifted, becoming smaller, more human-sized again. Now you face a choice, the final part of your evaluation. Athena gestured, and a holographic display appeared, showing the disabled scavenger vessels. Their ships are crippled, but their life support remains functional. They will survive until help arrives, but they retain enough power to transmit distress signals. Those signals contain data about this vessel, incomplete, but enough to attract others of their kind. What are you suggesting? Morn asked, her feline features suddenly alert. I could permanently disable their communication systems, ensuring the location of the horizon remains secret. Or you could take this data crystal. A small crystalline object materialized in the air before them, containing defensive technologies that would allow your Federation to protect itself from such scavengers in the future. But not both, Vorn realized. Correct, Athena confirmed. Choose to protect this vessel, or choose to protect yourselves. The team exchanged glances. Morn spoke first. We should ensure the scavengers can't reveal this location. More will come if they do. But the defensive technology could protect countless lives, Lyra countered. Vorn turned to Athena. Why force this choice? You could provide both. Because your choice reveals your values, the AI replied simply. There is no correct answer, only the answer that defines who you are. After a moment of silent deliberation, Vorn reached out and took the crystal. We choose knowledge. We choose protection for many rather than secrecy for one. Athena's holographic features revealed the first hint of what might have been a smile. An interesting choice. The scavengers will indeed send others. But perhaps when they come, they will find not just the horizon waiting, but a federation capable of showing the same restraint I demonstrated today. The A's form began to fade. You may return to your vessel now. The evaluation is complete. Complete? Drell asked eagerly. Does that mean we passed? It means you have been judged truthfully, HFY replied enigmatically. The horizon will remain here. You may return, if you wish, to learn more. But what you do with what you've already learned, that will determine the future relationship between your people and humanity's legacy. As the Federation team departed, Athena's final words echoed in their minds. Remember, Commander Vorn, the true measure of advancement is not the power to destroy, but the wisdom to know when not to. That was humanity's final lesson, and their greatest gift. The team boarded their shuttle in silence, each contemplating the implications of what they had witnessed. As they departed the horizon, they watched through the viewport as the magnificent vessel's weapons retracted, its hull smoothing over until it once again appeared as they had first found it. An enigmatic derelict floating in the void, its deadly defenses hidden but ever vigilant. On the bridge of the Astral Seeker, Captain Thela received the data crystal, her crystalline form capturing and refracting its subtle glow. Set course for Federation headquarters, she ordered. Maximum speed. As the Astral Seeker accelerated away from the human vessel, the crew couldn't help but look back at the mysterious ship that had changed their understanding of both humanity and their own place in the galaxy. In the darkness of space, the horizon continued its silent vigil, waiting for the next visitors brave enough to approach, and wise enough to understand the true power of restraint, humanity's final and greatest technological achievement.